the teams, each one of those 29 teams actually runs their own sort of, I'm going to call it a recruiting process, but where they do info sessions and they put out quarter cards and they participate in like the, student work fair or the project team showcase, so they can share their story and tell new students at Cornell, what they're all about and, what makes them special, what makes them unique, what type of project they work on. Each one of those teams actually has some type of application process. We do try and have some programmatic consistency around the timing of that so that things are happening in the same time and space and things are coordinated that way. I would say that most of the teams are looking for students, whether they're freshmen or sophomores or juniors, they're looking for new members to join their team that are really passionate and excited about the project that they're working on. And it's really interesting to talk to current members of project teams about why they picked the team that they picked. So some of them, it's because they have a passion for the thing they're building, right? Like they knew they wanted to do robotics, or they knew that they were really interested in energy efficient vehicles. Like they were really passionate about some, specific aspect of the project itself. But for many of them, it was more about, well, I knew I really wanted to participate in a whole design cycle, right? Design something and then physically be able to build it and see it, come into being. For some of them, it is that desire to connect directly with a community partner. I was talking about the social impact teams before. For some of them, it's meeting the team, like the current members of that team, and just feeling like, hey, this is a community of people that I feel like I could mesh with and I could sort of, join with. And I can think of so many just sort of funny and interesting conversations with current students over the past year about why they picked the team they picked. And it varies widely. Like I was talking to a computer science student who was one of the leads for our concrete canoe team. And like on the surface, I thought that was a really surprising choice for a computer science student. But she had a great reason for why that was the team that she picked. And it was something really different for her and really outside of her comfort zone, but also complemented some of what she's doing academically in a really interesting way. For other students, it was, as opposed to that example, it was alignment with what they're doing academically in a way that they saw that they could deepen or broaden what they're learning in the classroom, maybe apply theories that they're learning in the classroom and actually see them, implemented in a different way. But so students do apply directly to those teams, and then the teams typically do some sort of interview process. And the focus is really on, it sounds vague, but just kind of finding a good fit. Who's excited about participating? Who seems like they would kind of mesh well with the existing team, or maybe fill a for the older students, I would say maybe someone who, like sophomores or juniors who might be joining a team, that they might have a technical expertise and fill a role that's needed on that team. I would say by and large, the process does not really emphasize coming in with tons and tons of technical expertise. And certainly for the freshmen that join teams, for the first year students that join teams, it's, almost never about the technical expertise that they bring. I would say it is challenging because there are more, there's more students who want to join teams than spots available. And so that is, I know for the students who are doing that process for the teams, they always wish that, okay, well, if I could take, everybody who wanted to join, that would be ideal. But then everyone would just be doing one little piece, and they want to try and balance how many students they take with how much work they actually have to do, so everyone gets to have a valuable contribution to the team. There is a lot of fluidity in the system. So I've heard so many examples of how people joined a team or switched to a different team or did a team and then did research or then did co-op or an internship. So there's no kind of one size fits all solution. You could join as soon as the second half of your first semester, or you could decide, your junior year that now you want to try project teams. It is it's a very dynamic system with lots of movement going on, students in and out kind of in every direction. So